My name is Susan, and I am currently 9 years into my Kundalini awakening, and my dogs are barking already right when I start. I wanted to share today about the initial part of the awakening. My Kundalini awakening was in like two parts, like it happened over 2 days. And I didn't know what a Kundalini awakening was, and I wasn't trying to have a Kundalini awakening. Um, I had been doing a lot of meditation for years, and also 4 months prior to my Kundalini awakening, I had a heart awakening. I had been doing a lot of inner child work and working on my heart chakra, and I had an angel come in the front of my chest and do some work on my heart, and then I had felt this gate open at the very bottom of my spine, and the serpent came out on the outside of my back and met met the angel, the serpent and the angel meeting in my heart. And I made another video talking about that experience if you're interested to check it out. So I ended up having like 4 months of bliss after this experience, and then it all came crashing to a stop just instantly when I started experiencing symptoms of Parkinson's disease. And at the time, like, I never connected like all of my symptoms that I was having. I was on my way to the beach because I wanted to start a meditation class, a free class just out on the beach for the community. And so I was going to go jog down there and pick out a spot, and my foot was like stuck to the ground. I couldn't move it, and fell on my face. And at the time, like, I thought, oh, some evil spirit is like trying to prevent me from starting a meditation class. Never thought, that maybe it's, something, some kind of illness. And so I just went on with my run and picked out a spot and came back home. And the next morning when I woke up, I couldn't move my body. I could barely get out of bed, and I could barely walk. And I was having like tremors in my hands and other symptoms. And so it took me like about a week to start to recover from whatever was going on. I attributed it all to my fall when I tripped on the way to the beach. And so a friend of mine called me after about a week, and she invited me to come to the spa with her because she thought maybe it would be good to soak in the hot tubs to help whatever was going on with my body. And so we had jumped into an ice bath, and then from the ice bath we jumped into a super hot bath. And while I was in the hot bath, I felt like, oh my gosh, I need to get out. Like, quickly, I felt like ill. And so as I was getting out, I heard this soft voice in my head saying, you need to lay down flat on the ground and just stretch out across the floor. And ego popped in and said, you can't lay down on the ground. People walk there with their dirty feet, and you're naked, and everybody's going to look at you and say, what is that woman doing laying down on the floor? And blah, 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 blah. And I ended up listening to the voice of ego. And so I remained standing, and then I started to, my senses started to shut down because my heart wasn't able to pump the blood through my body. And I couldn't see, like, everything blacked out, but I could still feel I was standing up, holding on to the steps, getting out of the spa. And I knew that if I moved my body even an inch, that I was gonna just pass out, because I was like, everything was like locked. All my muscles were locked and everything holding me upright. And all the energy in my body, all the life force came up into my head, and I could just see this bright light, bright, beautiful light. And I just was like, oh, I just want to stay and like bathe in this beautiful light. But I knew that if I stayed there, I'd be in trouble. So I decided I'm going to just move my body an inch and let myself like fall like straight back, and you know, maybe I wouldn't hit my head, but when I woke up, I was stretched out, flat on my back, laying across the floor like the original voice had told me. And I had a concussion now. And so, again, the next morning, I couldn't move my body. I had a concussion. And so I decided to go on the internet to see like if there were any healing videos I could watch on YouTube. And so I came across somebody who was offering Shaktipat. And I didn't know what Shaktipat was, but it said healing energy. And so I tried a video, and I could actually like feel the energy, and I could kind of see the energy that, and so I knew like it was working. And so I started searching like anybody who was offering free Shaktipat. And so I found like 3 different people who were giving Shaktipat. 3 of like the strongest, like that I could feel the energy. And so one was like a guru, one was teaching Taoism, and another was a woman who was radiating the energy of the Holy Mother. And so I could feel like the energy hitting me, and I could see like golden little sprinkles of light, and so I knew it was working. And so I did that, and then the next night I thought, oh, I'm going to do it again. And so I did it again, and then like 10 minutes after, I felt the little gate that I had felt before when Kundalini came up, and it opened on on my back, and I felt like the snake head like poking in and out from this gate. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to have a Kundalini awakening. And so I didn't know what Kundalini awakening was, so I looked it up on the internet, and every time I would start to read about it, the energy got stronger. And so I would stop reading about it, but then I was like, well, what is this? And so I'd read about it some more, the energy would get stronger. And then my spirit guide came up and asked me, are you sure you want to have a Kundalini awakening? And I was just kind of like, I don't even know what it is. Like, but because I was on a path, I had had a spiritual awakening where I went into unity consciousness like 7 years prior to all of this. And so I had been on a path of seeking like truth. And I wanted to know the truth of reality and what this life is all about. And so I was already 50 years old at the time. I thought if I miss this chance, this opportunity will never come back again, and I'll feel like I had wasted my life. And so I said, yes, I want to have a Kundalini awakening. So I agreed to this, and I was given a choice, I think. At least they asked me. Maybe that was a trick question. They knew the answer. But anyway, I agreed to this, which maybe makes it a little bit easier. And so when I agreed to it, then I had this like incredible fear come up in me of like total annihilation. It was just overwhelming, like I thought I was going to die. And then the energy, it was like a liquid, came up my spine, and it was blocked when it got to my heart. And so it shot out into my body and started like making adjustments in my nervous system, like starting at my feet and then like slowly working its way up, and my whole body was like shaking like uncontrollable. Like I was trying to like text somebody at the time, like, I'm having a Kundalini awakening, and my hand was just going like this, like I couldn't even hold the phone anymore. And so it was like, I felt like every cell in my body was being stretched apart to make room for this energy to flow in between every cell. So my whole body physically felt like it was expanding. Like I felt like bigger for a few days, like after the awakening, like physically I was bigger because of this expansion that was happening. And so all these little adjustments being made, my body shaking, and then the energy came back up my spine, and it came through my heart, but then it was blocked again at my throat chakra, and so it ended up going around one of the side channels. And so it came up into my head, and when it came up into my head, it just kind of, this gold light just kind of surrounded me. I think the shaking stopped at that point, and I just was like complete peace and a little bit of bliss. Not a huge amount, but a little bit of bliss, and I was just very comfortable. And that whole experience lasted maybe like 30 minutes. And it was in the evening, and I ended up going to bed afterwards. And the next day, I had this fear like all day long that Kundalini was gonna just like explode up my spine and just, explode out of my body, and maybe I was gonna die. And so I was like really afraid all day to relax, because I knew if I relaxed, the energy was gonna shoot up. And so when I went to bed that night, I was like, I can't go to sleep. If I go to sleep, it's going to explode. I'm going to die. And I just finally just thought, this is crazy. Like, I cannot not sleep. Like, how long will I have to go of not sleeping before I sleep? And so I just thought, I'm just going to surrender. And the second, like, I relaxed, the second that I surrendered, sure enough, the energy shot up through my spine, came up into my head, and there was just like an explosion of light, sound like the cracking of a metal baseball bat or something, just exploding. And then I could see like all these like thoughts like rushing, like my consciousness, or like the consciousness, like just all these thoughts like rushing by, like I was just like a point in space, and all these thoughts are rushing by me, and they were all like talking at once, so I couldn't understand what anything was saying, like, until one landed on me and it said, "The mother is here." And I was like, what mother? Whose mother? And then more rushing thoughts, and then another thought landed on me, and it said, "Death to the prostitute." And I was just like, what the heck? Like, what prostitute? And I was pointed to my desk where my Bible was sitting, and it was open to a page that I don't remember opening to this page, but it was open to a page that was talking about the whore of Babylon, how she corrupts the 7 kings, which is the 7 chakras. And I thought, oh, the whore of Babylon must be the ego corrupting like all the chakras in the body. And so I was like, okay, like, so the next day when I woke up, I went to sleep after that. And the next day when I woke up, I was just full of energy. When I tried to use my cell phone, anytime I would touch the screen, the whole screen would just everything would disappear off the screen. It would go completely blank, but still light, like not a black screen, a screen with light, but nothing on it. And so I couldn't check my email. I couldn't use my phone, anything to communicate from my cell phone, because too much energy. And I'm sure you've all had like the experience of the exploding light bulbs. Yeah, like even just like looking at a light bulb, like it could be across the way, exploding light bulbs. So yeah, in my bathroom, standing in front of the mirror with the lights right above, you know, exploding the light bulbs. And I tried to go out. This is life. I have things to do, right? Kundalini can't get in the way. And so I needed to go to Rite Aid to buy a shipping box, and then I needed to come home and pack, and then I needed to go to the post office. And so I was fine when I was driving, but then when I got to the store to buy the cardboard box, I was standing in line, and it was like this gravitational force just pulling my body down. Like it took like every ounce of energy in my body to remain standing, because I wanted to just lay down. Like any second I knew I was just going to lay down on the floor because I couldn't stand anymore. And so it took every ounce of willpower in me to remain standing, and I'm just praying, please line, please move faster, move faster. And so finally got back to my car, and once I was sitting in my car and focused on driving, it was like I felt like I was okay. So came back home, packed, and then decided needed to go to the post office, and it was the same thing, standing in line at the post office, this force just dragging and pulling me down, and just there was like just complete exhaustion, which had been the case like throughout my awakening, like up until like recently, just complete exhaustion. Not able to do much, and sometimes there'd be little waves of energy, but yeah, it was just really draining. And even though you're full of energy, like all this stuff inside of you is just weighing you down like lead inside. So also, I forgot to say that when I was having, when it exploded in my head, I was also shown like 5 people that I knew who also had a Kundalini awakening. And when I saw this, like I was so surprised, like it made so much sense about like things that had happened in their life, and I saw like that they were okay, and this was like really significant to me, because I was having like these fears of annihilation and death, and I saw that these other people that I knew had gone through a Kundalini, and they were doing quite well now. And so that was like such a huge relief to me. And so I just want to say that I'm 9 years in, and yeah, it's like so much, I feel so much better. I mean, I'm still processing stuff. There's still some kriyas, not so many, but some kriyas, and a lot of purging still, and I'm still doing the inner work. But if I, coming from where I came, like the low vibration that I was living at before, and compared to where I am now, like the joy that I feel inside now is, it's like night and day. And so I just want to say that if you're just starting an awakening, it's so worth it. Like in the beginning, I always said, I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy, even though it's the most divine, blessed thing that ever happened to me. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy, because it's difficult. It's challenging. And even though I feel like my awakening was like an easy awakening, it's difficult, it's challenging. So I feel you, everybody out there who's experiencing it or has gone through this. So sending you so much love, and thank you for listening to my story, my experience, and I'll see you next time. Take care.